So today I wanted to talk about how we can learn to neutralize our feelings of jealousy or envy whenever we're comparing ourselves to other people. If you experience jealousy or envy, try not to beat yourself up too much. I know it feels icky and it's easy to be like, "Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep comparing myself to other people? Why am I so freaking insecure? Why can't I just be happy for this person or that person?" You know what I mean? Like it's just not a pleasant experience to have, but don't beat yourself up too much for it because one, all of us have experienced jealousy in our lives, and two, I don't really think it's something we can completely control, at least not in the onset of it. It's almost like an automatic reaction that comes up because honestly, I don't, if we could full on choose our feelings, I don't think we would choose this one. So it's a little bit of an automatic reaction, but we do have control over whether or not we ruminate about it and let it fester and grow into something much larger like shame or resentment or bitterness and deep, deep insecurity. Now, that is something that we want to avoid. One analogy that has really helped me get unstuck whenever I experience bouts of jealousy is to remember that life isn't always a seesaw, where if one person wins, it automatically means the other person loses, or if another person wins, it means the other person loses. Because actually, in life, in a lot of cases, it's possible for two people to win at the same time. And in fact, it's actually favorable for many people to win at the same time. Like, can you imagine if J.K. Rowling did not bring Harry Potter into existence because she looked at an author like J.R.R. Tolkien and was like, oh my gosh, he wrote the Lord of the Rings books, and that is a freaking masterpiece. How could anyone go after him? He already occupies the sphere of fantasy, so what is even the point of me bringing Harry Potter into existence? Can you imagine how crazy that would be? Like, my whole childhood would literally have to be rewritten because a lot of it's centered around Harry Potter. So when you think about that, it sounds absolutely ridiculous because we love the plethora of choices. We rejoice when multiple people rise up and offer the very best of their talents. So it's the same thing with you and I. We don't have to feel threatened by someone else's success all the time because their success doesn't necessarily take away from our ability to succeed. A lot of the time it's imaginary. Like, their success honestly has nothing to do with us at all. It doesn't hurt or harm us or anything. Like, literally, that doesn't impact your own prospects of succeeding in your own way as well. Now, I know this isn't always the case. There are truly some cases where there's only one winner at the end of the day, like if you're job hunting and you're competing against other candidates or playing hockey against another team. Like, that there is a win-lose situation in life. But what I'm saying is that in a lot of cases in life, maybe even most cases, there is such thing as multiple winners. And so someone else's success does not necessarily have to threaten your own. The second point I want to make is something that you have probably heard a million times, but I'm going to say it again anyway, because I think that there is some truth to it. And it's, don't compare yourself to someone else's highlight reel. Our social media accounts really are quite literally a highlight reel where it's very unlikely that we share the darker parts of our lives. Like, most of us just like putting our milestones or celebrating our wins or just like showing the amazing things that we've done with our day or the food that we ate or something. I don't know. I don't know what you put on your social media. It creates this warped view of the world where we perceive everyone else's lives to be perfect, whereas ours are far from it. And that obviously puts us at an extreme disadvantage. Like, it's like a battle in our minds that we can never win. We're just setting ourselves up for distress, because We know everything about what's going on in our lives, but we only know a fraction of what's going on in other people's lives. We really don't know what they're going through behind the scenes. And so it's completely unfair to compare yourself, like I said, to someone else's highlight reel. Now, instead, I'm going to recommend another thing that you've probably already heard before, but I'm going to say it again. And it's to instead compare yourself to your own self, to who you were yesterday or before 10 years ago, for example. That's a lot of a healthier and even more accurate measure of your progress. So I have struggled a lot with social anxiety, and it has been a massive frustration in my life. And I often feel jealous of people for whom this has never been a problem. People who can connect with others without even thinking about it. I have never known that. I have never experienced that. And so for me, like it's easy for me to get worked up and to feel like, oh my gosh, like how much easier my life would be if I was someone else, or if I was like that person who didn't suffer from social anxiety since she was a kid. Like it's easy for me to compare myself to other people and feel ashamed of myself, to know that even after all these years, I'm still struggling with the same thing. But when I stop comparing myself to someone else who has never struggled with social anxiety, when I compare myself to where I was like 10 years ago or even 3 years ago, holy crap, am I amazed. Because I have come so far. Yes, I still have social anxiety, and maybe to other people, it doesn't look like anything has really changed. But for me, knowing my intimate journey, I know how far I've come. And the thing is, if I didn't compare to myself, and if I compared myself to other people, I would have completely missed out on that profound realization of just how far I've come. I would have done myself and my efforts and my journey a complete disservice by dismissing it, by comparing myself to other people. And so that's why I urge you to compare yourself to yourself instead of comparing yourself to other people, because it's the most accurate measure, and you may also realize that you've come much farther than you thought. And if you found that you have actually devolved rather than evolved, when you didn't make progress, when you took a step back, that's okay too. That's a very important realization to acknowledge, because then you can make changes in your life. But see, again, all of this information that is so crucial to our development as people can be completely missed if we're always just comparing ourselves to other people left, right, and center. The final thing that I wanted to say about jealousy is sometimes that emotion is actually functional. It can actually serve us because it's trying to communicate a message to us. So maybe when you feel jealousy, try to lean into it and see what it's trying to tell you. Like maybe it's actually telling you that you want something for your life that you weren't willing to acknowledge before, or you were afraid to acknowledge it, and it's manifesting itself as jealousy, but actually behind it is desire. It's like you want that for yourself too, and that's okay to acknowledge that. Now, of course, this is not about letting the jealousy make you feel inferior to people, or make you feel insecure, making you feel like you lack worth or something like that. Like, that is not what this is about when I say to lean into it, but it's more about listening to it and trying to see what it's trying to tell you about your true desires for yourself. And so take the lessons that the jealousy is telling you and then leave out all the rest. So yeah, those are the 3 tips that I have for helping neutralize or overcome feelings of jealousy. 1, remember that life isn't always a seesaw where if one person wins, it means that you lose, or if you win, it means they lose. Remember that it's possible for 2 people to win at the same time. Number 2, compare yourself to yourself and not to someone else, because it only makes sense and it's only fair to you, and you would otherwise miss out on such valuable information if you don't do that. And number 3, try to lean in to your feelings of jealousy and see what it's trying to tell you about your true desires, and leave out all the other negativity associated with jealousy. So if you found value in this video, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel um, and connect with me that way. Also, feel free to share this video with anyone who you think needs to hear these words. And let me know in the comments below what other strategies you may have for neutralizing feelings of jealousy and how you can apply them to your life. So yeah, until next time, I will see you then.